Bales Company overview.
Right. Thank you all. For all of you who don't know about Bales, we have been in the Infor ecosystem for over 26 years. We are entirely Infor focused. We do nothing but Infor implementations, upgrades, and managed services. We support all aspects of the technology, including S3, Landmark, and Cloud Suite, including HRM, HCM, finance, and supply chain. In fact, we have been recognized and given partnering awards in 8 of the last 10 years. Our consultants bring 15 plus years of consulting experience in this space and the equivalent in professional experience. Some were former benefit managers, compensation managers, directors of supply chain, as well as former controllers and CFOs. Exciting news for the Infor community. Earlier this month, Bales became part of Nordic, an industry-leading healthcare consulting firm. We'll operate as a wholly owned subsidiary and continue to be led by Jamie Bales. Nordic will provide us with resources to fund our growth, expand our business, and support our customers more effectively. For healthcare customers, it allows us to bring together Nordic's capabilities in the EHR space to provide a more holistic solution, including specific expertise in EHR and ERP integration. This combination will offer best practice to reduce implementation risks and leveraging the data from both systems to drive insights and outcomes. Again, I would like to thank you for joining our call today. Our presenters are Niki Kimball, our HCM practice manager, and again, Director of Service Delivery, Kellie Gilbert. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Did you hit record?
I did. We're good.
Great. Well, welcome everybody. Brian introduced me. I'm Niki Kimball. I'm the HCM practice manager here at Bales. I'm mainly a consultant. I've been doing consulting with Infor and for over 20 years, and I was trying to count the number of years I've been with Bales, and it's pretty much 15-ish. And Kellie, do you want to say a couple words to introduce yourself besides comic relief?
I would love to. Thank you, Niki. My name is Kellie Gilbert. I am the Director of Service Delivery here at Bales. I've been with Jamie Bales since 1999. So it's been a couple of years. I have been with the Infor venue of products since 1994. So all of you, just so you know, I started work when I was 7. So if that adds up, I'm only 28. My suite area within the products is within the HCM venue, and I am here to help Niki with the lovely Cobra and to monitor the chat. So if anybody has any questions throughout, you can either put it in the chat or just please don't mind. You can interrupt. We don't mind. Otherwise, we'll just sit here and keep chatting. Over to you, Miss Niki.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, like she said, there's a chat window. Just type a question in there if you want to. She'll interrupt me whenever that pops up. So don't worry about that. We'll answer them as we go, or we can save them to the end, either one. So a lot of people have been asking about the capabilities of Cobra in GHR benefits. We'll just give you a high overview. We'll talk about some of the setup that's required for Cobra, and then how to connect it to the benefit plan and that setup. We'll talk about participants, processing, and reporting. So this is pretty high level, but there's not much to it. So you can use the benefits application to manage the plans that are used by Cobra. So you can actually have separate plans, or you can use the existing benefit plans that you have for medical and dental and vision, or whatever you offer. And I have not seen Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act spelled out in a very long time. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew what Cobra stood for, because I had to be reminded. So the Cobra participants are the people that are actually, they're called participants. In GHR, you call the employees resources, and the people in Cobra are participants. They can be resources. They can be the dependents of resources, or that you can even maintain a independent Cobra participants that's not even in the system for your daily processing. Spousal eligibility is factored into the enrollment of the creation. So when an employee or a resource becomes eligible, so does their spouse and a dependent. If necessary.
And Niki,
yeah.
Those are all maintained by doing your custom groups, right?
Correct. Absolutely correct. Yes. And we'll talk about that. There's a couple of different ways to control your groups as well. So you can, and I'll show you that later. I'll just say that. So on the organization level, the setup is pretty much just, I want to do Cobra. And there's 2 different ways here on the setup to control the Cobra processing, which is occurrence only, which just says someone's had an occurrence that makes them eligible, or you're going to do full enrollment processing. And that's a little more hands-off, which is those use the groups, create the enrollments, and does the whole flow without any intervention. The occurrence only is a little more maintenance involved, which is the benefits department will make the decisions about when someone gets an enrollment event and is allowed to enroll as a Cobra participant. And we'll see what the differences are later on. And it's really controlled by those groups that Kellie was talking about. So the first thing you have to do is create the occurrence types, which says, all right, what happened to me and how many days or months or what the type of coverage you get after those events happen. And those can be linked to termination, or those can be linked to actions. So they're automatic. So
we like automatic.
Yes, we do. We do. When it comes to Cobra enrollment events, you just have to set it up just like any of the other events that you have for your employees in benefits, where you have the enrollment type, event, and then a little more information to track what is happening. And those are linked to the actual occurrence type. So that's how it all fits together. When it comes to custom groups, this has been an interesting topic. So we've been presenting Cobra to clients and saying, here's what it has. And the decision has to be made. Are you going to go with the full automation, which is really good if you have a large number of employees that are working with Cobra? The last client we worked with that did it made the choice to say, I am going to control who is eligible and who is a Cobra participant instead of having the automatic flow, because that way there's a little more control, there's a little more, but they also have a smaller volume. So for the full setup, to watch it flow through and to maintain all the enrollments and everything happening, it was easy for my client to actually say, wait a second, I'm going to create an employee group that says, if I'm a participant, if I'm already set up as a participant, that's the only time I'm Cobra eligible. That's number two. But you can also do it based on status. So you can say, if I'm terminated status, if I'm in a hospital, if I'm going from full-time to per diem. So if any time that you lose eligibility, you can put that in a custom group, and they will automatically get the enrollment event. They'll see that on their employee space, and they'll be able to do the automatic enrollment. And it's very hands-off. But like I said, my last client actually picked participants, so they're manually adding participants, or all they have to do is link the resource number to it, and then create them. And then in that way, you can track the information about when you're sending out the information to them, all the paperwork, all the dates that you have to track. And I have screen prints later about that. Any questions now? This is just everybody good?
So far, so good, Miss Niki.
All righty, because I'm talking fast. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. All right, so for the benefit plan setup, it's really easy. All you have to do is on the main eligibility tab is add that benefit group. And depending on whether you're doing it just by participant or anybody who's become eligible, that's the group you have. And again, with any custom group, you have to create the custom group and then link it to the benefits group to make sure it's is available for benefits. You also have to create entry rules to make sure that they can drop into the plan when they're eligible to. Also coverage. Obviously, Cobra participants are going to have a higher coverage cost, so you're going to want to set that up. And it's all using the same employee group. Sorry, coverage would be the 1 through 4, but getting ahead of myself, contributions would be the different one. So there's two here. I think that's just different years. All right.
Right, and we get all that information right from the vendor, correct, Niki?
Correct. So that's, yeah, you're going to get all those costs. If you're self-insured, you're going to know those costs as well. Yep. So that's it for the plan setup. You can
that seems
also,
pretty easy.
It is. It's very easy for the plan setup. The cool thing is it's the same, uses the same export files that the regular plans do. So all you have to do is, if you want Cobra participant benefits, you just flag that selection, and it goes through the exact same process you're going through with your currently enrolled employees. All right, so what is a Cobra participant? It's anyone who's receiving the benefits and had an event or an occurrence that resulted in loss of benefits. A few examples are, we've already talked about this. Anybody who's terminated or had a reduction in work hours. Sometimes you'll see spouses who lose coverage either due to divorce or another job change. So there's all kinds of Cobra participants. So there's different ways we can put them into the system. You can put them in manually. Like I said, you can go to participant screen, which is right there in benefits maintenance. And you can say, this employee who just terminated is now going to become a Cobra participant. So you just select the resource number and click add, and all their information pops into the screen. Their address, birth date, social security number, all that kind of stuff that's going to be needed. And the dependents also flow with that as well. So as soon as you create a Cobra participant from a resource, all their dependents flow into that form. And then from there, you can enroll them manually. Or you can create an enrollment event, and that will be an employee space and make it eligible for them to enroll in their benefits in employee space, just as if they're, this is only going to be working if they're a resource. If they're termination, sometimes you have to do it on paper or have the filing separate because they won't have access to the system any longer. But you can also, it's a great way to upload with Spreadsheet Designer if you need to. If you're currently working from spreadsheets, which a lot of people are, to keep track of your Cobra participants and all their enrollment, it's very easy to upload them into a Cobra participant screen. They don't have to be a resource, so they can be independent of time. All right, here's the participant screen, which you can see the first thing up is resource. So all you have to do, if you're adding a resource here as a participant, the first thing you have to do is just go find that resource and you hit save. And like I said, everything will magically appear. You can manually enter this, or you can even, oh, and you see here the dependent, you can enter the dependent, select the dependent as well. If you had to manually enter this, if this was someone that is not in your current system, we recently had a go live where they did not import, obviously, people who weren't hired in that year or weren't paid in that year. So we had Cobra participants from the previous year that were still on Cobra. So we manually keyed them in here. Actually, I'm lying. We used the upload spreadsheet because that's how they were storing it currently. So you can manually update any of this information, dependents, occurrence, any information. The main tab does have information about just all those dates that you need to store, so you can enter those dates for tracking purposes. All right, when it comes to enrolling Cobra participants, the benefit managers enroll Cobra participants by creating participant benefit records, and that's a lot. Obviously, you have to enroll the participant, that's all. And the cool thing is it looks very, very similar to enrolling resource. All the screens look the same, which makes it very convenient and easy to understand. Each benefit record contains specific information about the individual's enrollment plan, including all the dates and the contribution amount. When the individual is enrolled in the benefit plan, the deductions are created, and that's an interesting thing. So if I'm just tracking and it will create deductions, what happens to those deductions? And we'll get that in a minute, but there are a couple options depending on how you are using the system. So we'll circle back on that. Once you have set up on your benefit plans, you can perform the initial enrollment. Individuals can be enrolled in the benefit plans using the following methods. So you can enroll them manually. You can mass enroll based on eligibility, just like you do with your resources. Or you can manually enroll individuals in plans or enroll one individual into multiple plans. Obviously, you can do that And then you can use Spreadsheet Designer to enroll. And you know, with the, like I said, with the client that I've been working with, since they had a small amount, we did use the upload to create them as participants. But we kind of did a closer look and manually did the enrollments just to get us, and that was the first time, to get us to the look and feel of all the screens to make sure that they were right. But also, we didn't have the enrollment data in the spreadsheet in a way that we could upload it easily, but it was manageable because it was under 50 people. A few of us in the benefit worked with the benefit team to get those enrolled. Wasn't very hard at all because it's so similar to what they're currently using with their resources. So you can create events. We talked about that, enrollment events for these Cobra if they have an occurrence. And you can also create a separate open enrollment for Cobra employees or Cobra participants. Very similar, it would just be the limited number of plans that you can use for Cobra. And it would be based on eligibility. So get back again to the custom group that we created to say, here are all the people who are eligible. So so it has, if you've ever gone through open enrollment in GHR, it has, you know, pretty graphs and updates so you can see what the status is, and it's going to be the same for Cobra. Exactly the same. It's quiet today. No questions out there?
No, not yet. I think everybody's either frozen or sleeping.
No, they're enthralled in everything we're giving them.
That's
right.
it, yeah.
So the events and enrollment, Cobra Events, you just create them in the Cobra Events section, and you can view the enrollments as well on the different tabs. So you can see who is in each type of event, or who qualifies for that type of event, and then you can see them on the right. All right. Oops. So maintenance actions. The benefit manager performs on Cobra Benefits include obviously updating the benefits. You can create one-time deductions to send to third-party payroll, and that does include S3. So you can create one-time deductions that send over to S3 payroll if necessary, and that will process as PR39 one-time deduction. But you just have to, that is if they're an existing resource. You got to remember that. So that's only going to work for someone who has lost coverage due to reduction in hours. So they're still going to be in the system and getting paid. As it says here, you can send it or create a file to send to third party. And the big question is always, what about invoicing? Well, you can create these one-time deductions. You can attach to the benefit enrollments and to the participant. And the best way that we've seen so far is to get these all in CSV and then do a mail merge to get it into an invoice format. Not the best news. I know that a lot of people were looking for invoicing for Cobra in GHR. It's not available system. The data is all there. The data is all available, and you can export it pretty easily and get it into Word, Excel, and then Word if you need to, and do a mail merge with the to get it in an invoice format. But unfortunately, there's minimal invoicing capabilities within the system except getting the data out. And I know that's what everybody's been looking forward to and was hoping for improvement over the S3 Cobra processing, but you know, that doesn't mean it's not coming. I have not seen it on the list, but I know that they're always improving, and Cobra is one of the places that that has always been talked about is getting more functionality in there. That covers it, right, Cal? I don't think there's any other way to get the invoicing.
Not at this time. Unfortunately, a lot of folks don't utilize the Cobra functionality within either of the systems. I know that we're trying to get them to get this a little more robust, but you know, right now for invoicing, you would need to do the mail merge as you suggested.
Okay. All right. We'll make sure you hadn't heard anything.
No, and the other thing though, if what I would recommend to all of our clients is put in an enhancement request. They're consistently trying to increase the product's capabilities. So if we can get an enhancement request in there and have people vote on it, you know, we'll get it sooner rather than later.
Okay. Great idea. All right, thanks, Kelly.
I have them every now and again. Don't tell anyone.
So like I said, the different tabs on the Cobra maintenance tab or participant maintenance tab is very similar to the employee or the resource, which is you have all these different tabs, current, future, historical, and you can see the dependents, enrollment events, occurrences, all that type of stuff. So here's a screenshot of it. Looks exactly the same. So you just click on the employee over here and you'll see all the info, or participant over here and you'll see all the information here. All right, when it comes to deductions, when a Cobra participant is enrolled in a plan, deductions are created. Here's one-time deduction can be created from a standard deduction list. And here are the instructions on how to do it. So select the deduction code. And then the next amount is the same as on the PR14 and S3. And I'm sorry if I keep jumping back there. It's where it came from. So it's this deduction setup is almost identical to what you'd see in S3. Just setting up the information, and then you could create just a list from all the entries that you created. So here's an example. The deductions have been set up here. So if you don't have so this kind of talks about how to define create the deduction as a one-time deduction, and that implies that the deductions are not set up on the plan, I would think. So if you have the Cobra contribution amount set up on the plan, it would automatically create here. This is if you wanted to say to manually create something. Just if you were just doing the basic tracking and you didn't have the cost in there, for example, on the plan for Cobra, then you could manually add them by employee. That seems like a lot of work, but it can be done. And then you could create them as one-time deductions. Benefit document templates for Cobra. They're templates, and I put this in here because this is where it looks like you could create invoices, but these templates are only have the 3 uses here right now. So Cobra enrollment, participant benefit, and participant occurrence. And what this is almost like an email template. So you can upload a document template that says you're now eligible for Cobra. Please see additional information. The email, you know, if the email is where the specific information is to that employee. So this document template can be attached to communication to the Cobra participant via email that have been created. Okay, that's what I want to see. So they're hooked to the Cobra Events. So if you have it automated, or even if you manually do it, you can have email templates created that are attached to the events, and the documents can be attached to those emails. And these are the email templates. Enrollment and participant benefit. So you can create your email templates just like you do in the rest of the system. Fairly straightforward. And then attach those documents to it. Okay, so the export options, occurrence export and benefit export. I wish that we could say that there was an invoice creation here. Hopefully number 5 is coming soon. But these are the out of the box available exports. Ooh, all right, and that's the reporting options. And this is going pretty quickly today. Any questions about Cobra and how it works and what's available in the system?
have nothing in the chat yet, Miss Niki.
I must be just so informative. That's what it is.
I'm telling you, you are riveting. You're absolutely riveting.
Okay.
That's just, they're all in awe. They're in shock. That's what it is.
Okay. So this note I just added in this last week because I've been embedded in an ACA project.
She's been having a lot of fun in her ACA project. Boy, let me tell you.
And what we've learned is if you have to report Cobra offers or enrollments with ACA reporting, you can do it one of two ways. You can add them as Cobra participants into the Cobra module, or you can add them as an ACA resource and get the same information onto the ACA report. So I just wanted to note that. Even if you don't maintain your Cobra participant or Cobra people in the system, you can get them added as ACA resources for the reporting that's required. All right, no questions. Anything?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Right.
I have nothing in the chat, ma'am.
Well, just as a reminder, we have coffee with consultants. So if you have the need to ask questions of any of our consultants in any area, we have experts all over the place in finance and supply chain, not just HCM, even though we like to think so here, right?
It's all about us and our needs.
You can reach out on our website. There's a reach us button, and you can actually request a coffee with a consultant so you can get some specific answers to your outstanding questions if you need it. Also, Brian's on here. His information is also available, and you can email him directly if you need. And we do have some webinars next. Is that next Friday? Wow.
Yeah, actually, there's one this afternoon too at 1
Ooh.
o'clock discussing IPA, Infor process automations. The exact title is, I have to check my email. The exact title is right on the tip of my tongue. A Beginner's Guide to IPAs Part 3. Very exciting stuff there from our technical team. IPA administrative work. So that's coming this afternoon at 1.
That's coming up next. I only got next week, so I apologize. I didn't get those two in here. But next Friday is planning for supply chain conversions and financial consideration.
That's a good one. That's a good one for anybody that's finance and supply management moving up to the FSM products in the cloud. That's a good webinar.
All right, great.
Yeah, can you send us the link for the IPA training, please?
I'm sorry, sir. What was that?
Do you have the link for the IPA one this afternoon?
Sure, I'll put it in the chat. How's that?
Okay.
Can everybody see the chat? That way, I'll send that link out to you right now.
Thank you.
Great.
You're welcome.
And then the last one next Friday is impairing fixed assets in financial and supply management. So some good stuff coming next week too. And again, 1 o'clock. It looks like Kelly just put that in the chat for everybody. All righty. Brian, do you have anything else to follow up with?
No, Niki, I think you covered everything. We have that upcoming webinar. Then next week we'll take a break and we'll start back at the series back in April. So keep a lookout on Work Out Loud, and we'll get the information through other social media outlets. So thank you for joining today, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.